So here's the thing with homemade meals. Eating them is great, but all the chopping and measuring and cleanup, not so much. With new one-pan assemble and bake meals from Blue Apron, you get all the flavor of homemade meals with a fraction of the work. Just assemble the pre-chopped ingredients, bake in the oven, and enjoy. Shop, assemble, and bake at blueapron.com. Get 50% off your first 2 orders with code APRON50. Terms and conditions apply. Visit blueapron.com/terms for more.
Hello, I'm Sarah and welcome to the Whispering Woods After Dark. I've got one long story to share today. It's a really sad story, and I do make mention of a song that plays, and I'll leave a link to it. So if you listen to it, having listened to the story first, it's really creepy. I'll get straight into it. Are you ready for the story? It's past midnight at a dimly lit roadhouse on the edge of a small Illinois town. The last employee mops the floor in silence, closing up for the night. Without warning, the old jukebox in the corner flickers to life on its own, selecting a haunting acoustic tune from the 1960s and playing it over the empty bar again and again. A cold chill rides on a sudden draft as the scent of fresh flowers drifts through the air. The bartender's heart skips. Locals know this song, and they know the legend. It was a dead girl's favourite melody, and when it plays by itself, Mary Jane Reid is here. Mary Jane Reid was a 17-year-old from the blue-collar Soundtown neighbourhood of Oregon, Illinois. A pretty, headstrong girl who had quit school to care for her ailing mother. On the warm summer night of June 24th, 1948, Mary Jane went out on a first date with 28-year-old Stanley Scriddler, a World War II Navy veteran. The pair spent the evening hopping between local taverns, and witnesses later record seeing them laughing and dancing at a popular spot called Stenhouse Restaurant, now known as the Roadhouse. In those post-war days, Stenhouse was a lively roadhouse where young women like Mary Jane would dance with off-duty soldiers. By all accounts, it was the last place Mary Jane and Stanley were seen alive. In the early hours after midnight, Mary Jane and Stanley drove Stanley's Buick out to a secluded Lover's Lane on County Farm Road, a quiet moonlight spot by the fields where local couples often went to escape prying eyes. What happened next remains a small-town mystery. At dawn, highway workers spotted a lone shoe lying on the roadside and stopped, only to discover Stanley's bullet-riddled body face down in the ditch. 5 spent shell casings littered the ground, and drag marks in the dew showed someone had tried to hide the body in the tall grass. Stanley's empty car turned up abandoned at a crossroads a mile away, a lipstick-stained cigarette, the only trace of Mary Jane left inside. Mary Jane herself was missing. For 5 agonizing days, Mary Jane's family held out hope that she might somehow be alive. Her distraught siblings even consulted a psychic in desperation. On June the 29th, 1948, that hope was cruelly dashed. The truck driver's high vantage point allowed him to glimpse something pale in the tangle of weeds along remote Silica Road, the road now ominously known as Devil's Backbone Road. There, hidden in the brush, lay Mary Jane's lifeless body. She'd been shot once in the back of the head, execution style, with what appeared to be the same caliber weapon used on Stanley. Strangely, her blouse was on, but her brown slacks had been removed and folded neatly on her back, almost ritualistically. Whatever evil visited that country road left no clear motive. Mary Jane still wore her mother's wedding ring, and Stanley's wallet was found with cash intact. Ruling out robbery, the shocking double murder of a young couple rocked the small river town of Oregon and remains unsolved to this day. Mary Jane was buried on June 30th, 1948 in Daysville Cemetery. But if her body was laid to rest, her spirit was not. In the wake of the tragedy, grief and fear hung over Oregon. The devastated mother, Ruth Reed, was never the same after losing Mary Jane. Family recalled how she would sometimes hide her younger children, gripped by paranoia that a killer lurked in the shadows. For the community, the murder became local law. Teenagers telling ghost stories would drive out on Devil's Backbone Road in the dark, daring each other to find the exact ditch where Mary Jane was found. And inevitably, people began to wonder, did the restless soul of Mary Jane Reed still linger, unable to move on? For decades after 1948, the tale of Mary Jane Reed's death was kept alive. Over time, it acquired a supernatural theme. Oregon is a small town, and fates would say Mary Jane's presence could still be felt. The first hints of a haunting were subtle. A feeling near the Rock River at night, a chill along the old Lover's Lane. Old-timers muttered that Mary Jane's ghost won't rest until her murder is solved. In town, the Stenhouse Roadhouse gained a reputation. Staff and patrons over the years reported odd experiences that they could never quite explain. From cold spots in certain corners to inexplicable noises after closing time. Long before any formal ghost hunt, Mary Jane's name had become entwined with local ghost lore, a tragic figure who might be reaching out from beyond. By the early 1990s, the Stenhouse building had fallen into disrepair. New owners purchased the old Roadhouse in 1993, with plans to renovate and reopen it as the Roadhouse restaurant. According to them, local residents warned the place was haunted from the moment they bought it. Initially, the owners laughed it off. The building was a ramshackle fixer-upper, and ghost stories seemed like just tall tales. That is, until the renovations began. As construction crews worked to restore the historic Roadhouse, the new proprietors experienced something that made their blood run cold. On 2 occasions, a mysterious young woman appeared in broad daylight beside the building. An unfamiliar girl with era-old clothing, watching the renovations. She spoke only one cheerful sentence. "How nice it will be once it's complete." Then walked straight through a closed door and vanished. The stunned renovation crew searched high and low, but there was no sign of the woman. Only later did the owners piece it together. Mary Jane Reed had come back to her old haunt. This was just the beginning. Once the Roadhouse opened for business, the strange phenomena continued and intensified, especially late at night. By the end of the 1990s, the hauntings were so prevalent that Mike Arians, one of the owners, who also happened to become the town's mayor, became a believer. Arians had been drawn to Mary Jane's unsolved mystery, and the more time he spent in the building, the more convinced he became that Mary Jane's ghost was present and desperate for attention. He and others would soon witness an onslaught of unexplained happenings that gave the Roadhouse its reputation as one of Illinois' most haunted restaurants. Over the years, employees, patrons, and owners alike have reported a catalogue of eerie encounters inside the Roadhouse. The jukebox has a mind of its own. Staff say it will suddenly start playing one specific song repeatedly, often after midnight when no one is near. Bizarrely, the song it selects, Sergio Mendes and Brazil's 66's mellow tune After Sunrise, was identified as a favourite of Mary Jane's, and it plays over and over with no earthly explanation. Witnesses have seen the jukebox stop abruptly in the middle of a track, only to skip back and replay the same haunting song, as if Mary Jane's restless spirit is choosing it. Several employees have spotted a young female apparition after hours. She's often glimpsed gliding silently down the front hallway by the old saloon doors, wearing clothes not of this era. Those who have seen her describe her as semi-translucent and eerily calm. She's there one moment and gone the next. And more than one bartender, closing up alone, has refused to walk that hall at night. Many staff members have felt an invisible presence. They'll be cleaning up when they suddenly sense a hand brush their shoulders or arm and turn around to find no one there. Often these encounters come with a chill in the air, a sudden cold breeze that passes through an otherwise still room. Long-time employees have learned to greet Mary Jane when they feel a cold spot. A flowery perfume smell will waft through empty rooms at closing time, as if someone just walked past wearing her Sunday best. On multiple occasions, the overwhelming scent of fresh-cut flowers, roses or lilacs, has filled the air with no source to be found. In one especially poignant incident, a beautiful bouquet of flowers was delivered to the Roadhouse, addressed to Mary Jane herself. No sender was ever identified, and strangely, the delivery arrived on June 15th, Mary Jane's birthday, on a day the restaurant was actually closed. The timing and the fact that an order was placed for a deceased woman left even the skeptic shaken. The Roadhouse has its share of poltergeist-like mischief. In the kitchen, utensils and cookware have been known to leap off shelves or fly across the room when no one is nearby. A chef once witnessed an entire tray of silverware topple violently to the floor, as if yanked by an invisible force. These unpredictable bursts of activity usually happen in quiet moments, catching workers off guard and sending them running out of the kitchen in fear. The building itself is old. Parts of it date to the 1890s and has seen a lot of history. During the 1920s to 30s, it reportedly housed a secret speakeasy and gambling den in the basement. Fittingly, people have reported the lingering smell of cigar smoke in the downstairs lounge when nobody is smoking. Late at night, some even claim to hear the faint clink of poker chips and murmur of disembodied voices rising up from the empty cellar. Perhaps the most unsettling occurrences have been the bizarre messages and coincidences seemingly connected to Mary Jane. In 1999, the restaurant's name was officially changed to M&J's Roadhouse. A coincidence that the initials MJR exactly match Mary Jane Reid's name. That same year, on Mary Jane's birthday in November, an attempt was made to deliver flowers to the Roadhouse, which, as noted, arrived with no explanation. In June 2000, the new owner, who was also Oregon's mayor at the time, received an official piece of mail from the Illinois state capitol addressed to Mary Reid, despite no such person working there. A few months later, a fax order came through listing Mary Jane Reid as the sender or contact, as if Mary Jane were cheekily using her old telephone operator skills from beyond the grave. The staff was flabbergasted, and in 2003, an employee found a handwritten birthday card left on the premises. Inside, in girlish cursive, it read, "Hope you had a good birthday. Love, Mary Jane." Handwriting experts who later saw it remarked that the script was a near-perfect match for Mary Jane Reid's penmanship from old letters. These experiences have made the Roadhouse a local legend. Many employees outright refuse to work the late shift alone because of the activity. Even hardened skeptics admit to getting goosebumps when that one song crackles through the empty bar after midnight. The owners have embraced the spooky heritage. They've hosted haunted history tours and displayed some of the evidence, like that mysterious birthday card, for curious visitors. If you stop by for a steak and beer, don't be surprised if owner Mike offers to show you the basement's secret rooms and share a ghost story or two. More than 75 years have passed since Mary Jane Reid's life was cruelly cut short, but her story is far from forgotten. The murder investigation has been reopened multiple times, even resulting in Mary Jane's body being exhumed in 2005 for new clues. Yet the killer's identity remains a mystery. It's almost as if Mary Jane refuses to rest quietly until justice is served. As former owner turned mayor Mike Arians once said, he doesn't believe the ghosts at the Roadhouse will ever find peace until this thing is resolved. In the meantime, Oregon, Illinois has made peace with being known as a town with a ghost. Far from scaring people away, Mary Jane's lingering presence has become a part of local identity. Late at night, when the neon bar sign flickers and the summer wind rustles through the pines, you might find yourself driving along Route 2 near Pines Road, approaching the old Roadhouse. You'll see its windows glowing softly against the darkness. If you're curious, step inside for a moment. You might hear a faint tune playing from the corner, or catch the sweet smell of flowers with no source. You might feel a gentle tap on your shoulder when no one is there, and you might whisper, "Mary Jane, is that you?" Many locals will tell you that if you do, you're not alone. Mary Jane Reed's spirit is said to walk there still.
You've got vast stockpiles of data, but 80% of it is unusable by AI. That's a lot of missed opportunity. The Highland Content Innovation Cloud is the only platform that makes enterprise content and unstructured data agentic AI ready, secure, and actionable, so you can make real impact for the people you serve. Incredible opportunity is here with Highland. Turn insights into impact.
I did wonder, maybe it's somebody being an arse, sending in cards and stuff like that. But I don't know. It gave me a prickle up my spine thinking about that. And as I said, I will leave a link to the song. So I want you to turn the lights out, put your headphones on, and have a listen. Imagine that you're listening to it in like this roadhouse, because it'll give you chills. Well, it did me. But that's it from me today. I hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you again on Monday. Take care, everyone. The stories told on the Whispering Woods are inspired by historical records, witness reports, and local folklore. While every effort is made to research and represent events accurately, some details, names, and locations may differ from official accounts or have been changed out of respect for those involved. These episodes are created for storytelling and entertainment purposes and should not be considered definitive fact or investigative journalism.